it comes from. Food and Thought in Naples is an oasis where people can reconnect to their food and where it comes from. It's not just a grocery store, it's a lifestyle.
100% organic food and thought.
From 92.5 Fox News.
It's the stuff Southwest Florida is talking about.
It's Daybreak. Now, here's the guy at the epicenter of what's important to those of us who live in Southwest Florida. Drew Steve.
Hey, good morning, Southwest Florida. Glad you're here. 239-479-5592. The talk and text line. We stream live. DrewSteele.com. The website, Steele has 3 E's. You can watch the program and you can subscribe to the podcast. We do appreciate that. Keeping an eye on some of the stories that are popping today. You know, I have an interesting read from the Federalist talking about how for the longest time, Republicans always talked about the big tent. Got to have the big tent. You know, 2012, after the re-election of Barack Obama and the Republican Party looking and saying, man, we got to just open up the tent. Is that right? I mean, is that the way it should have been? Because there's a re-examination of that time period and what's going on right now. And maybe we need to rethink this. And it's a great article from the Federalist and Emily Jashinsky. And I'm going to talk about coming up later on this morning that I think you need to check out. Also, Joe Biden has got some more bad news, even when it comes to some polling numbers that's out there. Boy, you might be surprised to find out who's got, at this point, a 10-point lead over a Biden-Harris ticket right now in 2024. Or maybe you wouldn't be surprised. We'll get to that on the way. And some other news that's out there, including Dr. Fauci, who apparently has admitted something that he denied in Congress, in front of Rand Paul, in front of anybody that would listen. Denial, denial, denial. And now is he saying that not only is he admitting that the NIH was funding the lab in Wuhan, but that he has no regrets? Did he say that? I might have some audio on that. Actually, I do. Why would we tease it any other way? All right. Let's find out right now a couple of other things that are going on as we keep an eye on the Gabby Petito story. And, you know, I have to admit something. In just a little bit, I will talk about this story a little more about me personally, my decisions when it comes to talking about this story and looking at the story and some of the things that I've mentioned. But there's something else that I want to talk about with this story after we hear from Richard Kolko, who's joining us right now on Daybreak 92.5 Fox News. Safety and security expert at Wink News. And boy, he had like maybe 137 years at the FBI. How long was it again? Because I keep getting the numbers wrong. So I figured I would exaggerate.
There you go, Drew. Good morning. It was about 21 years.
Yeah, about 21. There you go. Give or take a couple of months. Who's counting? Me. I am. Actually, you are. But anyway, all right. So this is important, you know, as we look at this case. And now you have the FBI making an announcement late yesterday. A lot of people were wondering how was the FBI going to get more involved in a case? Because they've been saying to me, Richard, and they probably say the same thing to you. How's the FBI going to get more involved in a case that they need to get more involved in if there's really no way to specifically say to Brian Laundrie that he is maybe a suspect in this, or the idea of how do you get him or be able to go after him, so to speak, in this case. And maybe what they did yesterday is the way to get the ball rolling. Does that make sense?
That's exactly right. You know, they've been calling him a person of interest, which is a term that really doesn't have any real legal standing. Yeah. But it does have standing as far as what authorities and what tactics the FBI and other federal law enforcement can do to investigate. And boom, once they get this arrest warrant, and he's indicted for some crimes, which is not the murder, but that does unleash the full power of federal law enforcement to, go after Brian Laundrie, and that'll be helpful.
So what did they do exactly?
Well, they actually charged him with illegal use of her credit card after her death, basically unauthorized. Her parents never said he could use it, or she never said he could use it. So that's the charge they've got him on. But that's all they need at this point to get started. Well, they've been started, but to continue to escalate the ability to use the tools at their in their office to track down Brian Laundrie, and that's where they're at right now. Yeah, and so I mean, is that? I guess typically, if you were going to look at the FBI and say, "Is this how they do it?" Like this is how this is nothing new. I mean, if you have an idea of somebody that you want to
investigate more, but you can't really necessarily pin them for this specific crime, so to speak, then the way to get in is to do something like what's happening in this case. I mean, this is typical.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but the different point here is, believe it or not, murder is typically not a federal crime. There's no federal statute against murder. So this case, if it eventually becomes a murder case, would be prosecuted by the state of Wyoming, where it likely occurred.
Yeah.
So the FBI has charges that are applicable in this case, and that's what they're using, and that works with the police because, again, the FBI is a national organization,
right.
Has the offices in every state. And that's very helpful when you're trying to do a manhunt.
Yeah, because
like
I think that's what people have said to me, Richard, is that, why is the FBI involved? Or, what is it in what capacity? Because if it is something that is going to be a state issue, I mean, where the body was found and that's where the investigation is, then how does the FBI, in other words, the FBI doesn't necessarily need to be involved in this. This is law enforcement in the state that should be taking care of this, but they're looking for help from the FBI, and that's what this is about.
Well, there's a lot of different ways to write it up. The easiest one that you're talking about there is a way that the FBI can provide assistance to local police. It's called a domestic police cooperation case because of the resources that they have. There are certain cases you can help local police with. This is one of them. Another one is this is actually federal property where her body was located, so that would be crime on a federal reservation. And, of course, now the charges that he's been charged with, which are really interstate commerce charges, the illegal use of the credit card. So there's various ways that the FBI can get engaged in assisting Northport Police, Wyoming Police, and, actually even Suffolk County, New York, where her parents live, and she was initially reported missing. Right. So that's how they're involved now.
So as you look at this story, and it takes all kinds of twists and turns, things that you don't expect. People, witnesses that are saying somebody, I think in Wyoming at a diner, there was somebody else that said they might have seen him or did see him hitchhiking, all of these different additions. Plus, the one thing I think that is baffling to many people, and maybe you can speak to the latest on this, is the parents. I mean, and their involvement. You try to speculate. People want to speculate. People love the idea of true crime stories that they can solve on their own as they follow it. I mean, it's a little, unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. That's part of the reason why I kind of stayed away from this story necessarily, and I'll get into that in just a minute. But what about the parents? What's the latest there? What do we know from them?
Well, we know the parents left Northport yesterday, went up to Orlando and met with their attorney for several hours. They're in a predicament. This initially came back to Brian showed up without his fiancée, and obviously I don't have the facts, haven't spoken to the parents, but they probably at some point tried to either believe or defend their son, which is sometimes understandable as a parent. But then at some point it's gone too far, and now their concern has to be not protecting him from the law, but protecting his life. Is he out in this swamp? Is he going to harm himself? Is he going to be in a confrontation with police that could end badly for him? They should be most concerned now about making sure that he's safe, and making sure he's safe means they need to provide the information they can to law enforcement so that Brian can he's going to be arrested, but better off arrested than dead. So they need to cooperate at some point here, and sooner than later. And
so, and I guess the question becomes, as you start to look at the picture that we were just laying out with regard to what the FBI is doing and the charges and getting involved and being able to be involved more in this in the case specifically with him as an individual. Will that also? Well, go ahead.
That'll ramp up. Yeah. There'll be much more interaction, with the parents at this point.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to ask. Now, does that enables them
subpoenas?
Yeah, that enables them to bring the parents in on this now.
Right. They can question more people. They can use more power of the subpoena. They can use different surveillance techniques. The parents are going to get very tired of this very quickly. The parents are going to get tired of it. The neighbors are going to get tired of it. Brian's friends and family are going to get tired of it. And that pressure will hopefully at some point make the parents choose to cooperate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's why I wanted to have you on quickly here. Richard Kolko joining us on Daybreak 92.5 Fox News, because many people were asking me the questions about the FBI involvement and how they could be involved if there wasn't any specific charge. And now that the charge is there, that they can jump in, and to what degree now can they get involved with this case. And so
sure.
that's...
Well, I'm sorry, one more thing, Drew.
Yeah.
And everybody's saying, the parents are aiding and abetting, or whatever, possibly. They weren't until a criminal charge was filed. So now, if they're assisting him, now they're breaking the law. So it became different once that arrest warrant was issued, once that indictment came out.
Right. Okay.
So that's the line in the sand that matters now.
All right. Well, we keep an eye on it, and I appreciate you keeping an eye on this and giving me a little more details on the FBI angle on this. So I appreciate you. Richard Kolko joining us on Daybreak 92.5 Fox News. All right, my friend. I appreciate you. I'll see you soon. Okay.
Good day.
Yeah, and Jake, this as well. The one thing about this story, and as it takes all these turns and people are trying to look and understand why the parents aren't saying anything and where he is in the investigation. And, I'll be honest with you, the concerns that people have about the FBI being involved in anything, even after the story that we talked about yesterday, Julie Kelly was talking about the rot at the FBI and all the different things that they were involved in, but didn't do anything about USA Gymnastics and Trump-Russia collusion and all of these other things, that the FBI has fumbled in the concerns about what they could possibly do and why they would wait, and in this case, how much they could possibly be involved. But the other thing, too, is, I haven't talked about this case much because, and I've mentioned it before, about, how all of a sudden people started to, my initial impression was to look for something else to talk about, to get everything else that's in the headlines off the headlines, and to talk about something completely different. And that bothered me. As awful as this case is, and as awful as it has turned out, and now all the investigations that are going on, still, there are so many other things that are happening that I don't want to avoid. Local, state, important, very, very important issues. Not taking anything away from, the loss of life. But again, how this becomes quickly into something that is an entertainment podcast type situation. And I hate to put it that way, but man, you look at all the true crime stories and all the podcasts, and you can talk to Jake because he can answer this and speak to this directly, right, Jake? How you look at podcasts and you look at the top entertainment that's there in podcasts and even in TV, and what is it? It's these true crime stories that people just gravitate to them because they want to solve the mystery. They want to hear more about the mystery. It's almost like this, and I hate to say it again, but it's because it's morbid. It's like this entertainment factor that goes along with it, and I hate that part of it. That's just personally. That's just me speaking personally. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, everyone's a detective. Everyone's a detective.
But I get it. But it unfortunately it just seems like that's what this is. That's always what's bothered me is you have the loss of life, and then it's just sort of like it's not even real. It just becomes more
entertainment,
about right. It just becomes more about the story. And forgive me if I'm not being callous. Quite the contrary. I'm trying to talk about, there's a life lost here. And certainly I'm not suggesting that all of you that are listening or been paying attention don't realize that and care about it and take that personally.
But it's obvious that some people lack sympathy, and it's not for your entertainment.
And they just run with this because of this whole mystery, true crimes. It's almost like listening to a podcast or watching a TV show that you watch and it's playing out in real time. And yeah, so that's why I've always been like, I just hope they solve it. I hope they figure this out quickly and then, give some peace to the family. That's what I'm looking at. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Just trying to figure out how exactly to put that. All right, 239-479-5592. What's going on along the border? We'll talk a little bit more about that. As I've been mentioning, Al Sharpton there and the heckling of Al Sharpton. Is that what happened there? We'll get to that. Also, I do want to get to Dr. Fauci. And now did he go from, we never gave money to the Wuhan lab to, man, my only regret is that it caused such a degree of distraction. Did that happen? because you do understand that if that is taking place and Dr. Fauci is the end-all be-all to everything that is masking and vaccinations and shutting down and lockdowns and all the things that we should be doing and the dance that we're doing that has to do with the vid, you do realize that if he keeps waffling on these very important issues and says one thing, which would be, and then comes back with something else that some would describe as a lie, that it's really hard for us to trust you. Yeah, we'll talk about that coming up. Stay break 92.5, Fox News, right all along.
Whether you're commuting to the office or driving to the beach, always stay to the right with 92.5 Fox News. Right all along.
Abbott Hill in Naples is your one-stop shop for every aspect of your remodeling and renovation projects. Their team is committed to providing innovative solutions with the highest quality products. Abbott Hill offers from modern European style to furniture-grade, authentic, handmade, old Amish cabinetry. Each piece is made with the highest quality solid woods and traditional construction methods for your new kitchen, office, entertainment wall, vanities, and built-ins. A large selection of unique porcelain tiles, including top designers like Roberto Cavalli and an exclusive collection of large format slabs and tiles from Versace Ceramics.
Hi, I'm Peter, the owner of Abbott Hill. Please come see my showroom located on 5880 Shirley Street in Naples or call 239-260-5246.
If you're in the market to update your kitchen, bathroom, or floors, Abbott Hill is offering free kitchen design consultation and 20% off countertops with the purchase of kitchen cabinetry. Abbott Hill, returning the quality of yesterday and leaving you smiling for years to come.
Whatever you're doing this weekend, stop your plans and enjoy 60% off on a large collection of diamonds, rings, bracelets, and necklaces.
Hi, Stuart Duncan here. You're invited this weekend to our 60% off sale. Come see us. Savings like no other.
Don't miss the savings at Duncan's Diamonds 60% off event.
Enormous selection. Magnificent diamonds.
This Friday and Saturday only. It's happening at Duncan's Diamonds.
An avalanche of glittering diamonds, engagement rings, wedding bands.
If it's in the showcase, it's a whopping 60% off. Now is the time to save at Duncan's Diamonds.
I want you to find the diamonds and jewelry you will love today and save 60%. And we will not be undersold by anyone, anytime, anywhere, and you can count on it.
Duncan's Diamonds. It's worth the drive for the best prices on diamonds and jewelry.
This weekend only, 60% off event.
Naples at Mercado. See store for details.
The moment you fire up a Gator UTV, the engine has your full attention. The completed job is on the horizon, and the trail meets its match. Just like that, you made short work of a long to-do list. Run with us on a John Deere Gator UTV. With effortless four-wheel drive at the flip of a switch and our smoothest shifting transmission yet. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere Gator for more.
Stay right here, because after Drew, it's Glenn Beck, 9 to noon. 92.5 Fox News. Right all along. This is Daybreak with Drew Steele on 92.5 Fox News.
Why are you making racism where it doesn't exist? Why are you trying to come and provoke violence? Why are you here advocating for violence? Why are you here advocating for violence? Del Rio is not a racist city. Del Rio is a loving, caring community. We don't want your racism in Texas. Get out of here. Nobody wants to hear your racist nonsense.
That's Al Sharpton visited the southern border, and it sounds like the residents of Del Rio, Texas, were not interested in Al Sharpton showing up to whip up what Al Sharpton typically whips up, and you know what that is. And yeah, they weren't having it yesterday.
This is Daybreak, 92.5 Fox News.
Hey, Sean Hannity here for DeVoe Cadillac. Now, you all know Cadillac is synonymous with quality. In fact, it has been the icon of American-made luxury vehicles for over 100 years. Now, DeVoe Cadillac has been in business for over 50 of those years. Now, they serve Southwest Florida as a family-owned and operated business. They've done it the whole time. The DeVoe family has embraced the same commitment to quality that Cadillac represents. Listen, I could drive whatever I like, and guess what? I choose Cadillac again and again and again because I love my Escalade. I really enjoy the comfort, I enjoy the safety, the style, and that's why, let's see, I've already purchased over 10 Cadillacs in my life, and my go-to dealer in Southwest Florida is DeVoe Cadillac. Now, I know they're going to take great care of you and your new Cadillac with expert service from the people who know it best. Get to know our friends at DeVoe Cadillac, your Cadillac dealer right here in Naples.
Hey, this is Papa with Casey, Carrie, and Cody. And as most of you know, when Irma hit in September of 2017, thousands of people tried unsuccessfully to call a roofing company. But all the roofers were so overwhelmed they could not handle or even answer those calls. Now here we are, 4 years later, and many of those same people are still waiting to have their roofs repaired. So, we are implementing our proactive list. If you want to be on our list, call me for our free tile roof inspection. Once we inspect your roof, you will be on the proactive list. If or when the next storm hits, you will have no need to call any roofer because we will be calling you automatically to see if you need help. We can offer emergency repairs and tarp service or whatever your roof requires. Call Papa now for our free tile roof inspection, 945-2700. We believe it's wise to be proactive and it costs you nothing to join our list. Call Papa for our free tile roof inspection at 945-2700. That's 945-2700, area code 239-945-2700.
License number CCC 1326213.
Are you one of the millions of homeowners who haven't refinanced yet? If so, I'm here to tell you it's not too late. Hi, I'm Wesley Hoagland with Westland Financial. Although the lowest rates may be in our rearview mirror, as the economy recovers from the biggest economic shock of our lifetime, rates still remain near historic lows. In fact, with the dramatic increase in home values, this may be the perfect time to put that new home equity to work. Take advantage of our cash-out refi program and pay off high-rate credit cards, car loans, or other high-interest rate debt. Or finally make those home improvements you put on hold for so long. Best of all, we can do this with no closing costs. That's right, whether it's a conventional, FHA, or VA loan, we'll pay for your title, settlement, lender, and recording fees. So call Westland at 888-455-3669. That's 888-455-3669. It's the biggest no-brainer in the history of mankind. 888-455-3669.
NMLS number 3304. Not all loans apply. Equal housing lender.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. The federal recommendation is now for higher-risk people who got Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine to get a third booster shot at least 6 months after the second.
People age 65 and older will get approved Pfizer boosters. Also, those age 50 to 64 with underlying health issues and people in the 18 to 64 age group with chronic health issues are okayed for a third Pfizer shot. Also, first responders who are already vaccinated.
Fox's Gernal Scott. A Republican election audit in Arizona is expected to be delivered today. Matt Gulka with Fox 10 Phoenix has a draft copy of the report.
Joe Biden got more votes than Donald Trump in Maricopa County. The Cyber Ninjas forensic audit shows Biden actually got 99 more votes during their audit count, and Trump received 261 less votes after the recount.
The audit was supported by Arizona's state Senate. America's listening to Fox News.
This break is sponsored by Cornerstone Builders. Give us the opportunity to wow you.
Wink News, traffic.
Good Friday morning, everyone. I do have a crash with injuries coming out of Collier County. This one's on Palm Street and Tamiami Trail. Tamiami Trail seeing backup in both directions, most lanes. So if you are headed that way, anticipate a little bit of a delay in your morning commute. Another crash I have, this one in Lee County with no injuries on Daniels Parkway and I-75 southbound. Daniels is seeing some roadblock heading westbound, so if you are going that way, expect some delays. That's your up-to-the-minute traffic. I'm Taylor Wirtz. Wink News now.
Wink Weather Authority.
Well, happy Friday as we head into the upcoming weekend. Some changes ahead, but for today, warm and humid with a high of 91 degrees with more scattered thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon. Saturday will still feature some more scattered storms to start the weekend with a high of 91 degrees for tomorrow. But as we see a frontal boundary pass through the area beginning Saturday night into Sunday, we should start to see some drier conditions. Storms becoming more hit or miss and isolated by Sunday as we welcome in some of that drier air. We'll be feeling less humid by Monday of next week. I'm Wink News Weather Authority meteorologist Casey Sherman.
There's a reason they call tasteless, stale food leftovers. Feed your brain the right way. 92.5 Fox News. Right all along.
Imagine replacing your old kitchen with the kitchen of your dreams. Brand new custom-made cabinet doors. Drawer fronts, hand-finished by true craftsmen. Designer hardware, new hinges, and everything installed beautifully in less than a week, start to finish. Expensive? No. To the contrary, with refacing by Cornerstone, you'll save so much, we should really talk about your master bathroom, too. Go for wow. Go for Cornerstone.
Health insurance. We all hate it, but we have to have it. Hey, Southwest Florida, it's Tyler McCluskey here, and as an insurance executive for the past 10 years, I now host a show every Saturday at 11 a.m. right here on 92.5 Fox News. I explain everything you need to know about the health insurance industry and show you all how to save money. For more information, tune in this Saturday at 11 or call now for a free quote at 239-633-3140 or online at tylermccluskey.com.
Well, is the little pill working yet?
Men, these days could be a thing of the past. Hello, this is Dr. Lou Spangler at Neogenics. Recent advances in non-surgical treatment for erectile dysfunction, combining high-frequency shockwave therapy with the P-shot, which utilizes platelet-rich plasma, can help restore your virility. These treatments help restore blood flow to the penis and rejuvenate penile tissues, resulting in longer, stronger, firmer, more satisfying erections. Both treatments are simple, in-office procedures, and there is no pain and no downtime. You can resume all normal activities immediately after treatment, including sexual activity. Men, you don't have to suffer anymore. If you have erectile dysfunction or simply want to improve your sexual function, call Neogenics at 239-277-9999 for a free consultation. That's Neogenics at 277-9999. Again, 277-9999.
Fox News listeners, Saturday morning is the perfect time to talk boats and water fun in Southwest Florida. This is Adam Botana again from Baywater Sousa Boat Club. Join us every Saturday morning from 7 to 8 for the Baywater Boat Club Hour. We talk boats, fishing, boating hotspots, water quality, on top of Jake the Millennial and I just having fun on the radio. And if you don't have a boat, Baywater Sousa Boat Club has got you covered. Just call me, Adam, at 239-495-0455.
For eligible individuals 18 or older only, not available in Oregon or West Virginia. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With hearing aids from Lively, everything is done remotely in the comfort of your home, from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better. With Lively, you get premium Bluetooth-enabled hearing aids at thousands less than you'd might expect. The best hearing aid technology is now affordable and convenient. Your hearing aids are sent right to your door. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week. No charge. Ah, you people at Lively are wonderful. With Lively hearing aids, you get free shipping, 3 years of follow-up care included free, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage. You can't lose. I hear better than I ever thought possible. Now get $100 off your hearing aids when you go to listenlively.com/radio. That's listenlively.com/radio. listenlively.com/radio.
The right place for local talk. Drew now. Trey for the drive at 5. 92.5 Fox News. Right. All along.
All right, 239-479-5592. The talk and text line streaming live, drewsteele.com. The website, SteeleS3. I know we got all kinds of issues going on here. We have technical issues happening here in the studios. I guess the camera is acting all funny, so now I look like an alien. But it has filled in a lot of my... It does make me look less like I'm losing my hair. Yeah, it's because it's so grainy, it makes my thinning hair look...
Is that why you're making fun of my man bun?
I'm jealous. I'm not going to lie to you. By the way, how did we do with my... earlier, I mentioned that my son's looking for... I'm trying to get a fedora for my son. Did anybody text?
The best comment was to find one that's man-sized and have it fitted to his head. That's what it said.
Somebody said, find a man-sized fedora for my 12-year-old and then fit it to his head.
Yeah, and then have someone, I guess, cut it.
You can cut a hat?
I don't know.
How do you cut a hat?
With scissors.
No, I know that. No, I meant why don't, maybe on the inside you just put if he has like a football helmet that fits him, I can just take the plastic out of the inside of the football helmet and shove it into the fedora.
No, better idea.
What?
You get him a hard hat. and then you take the plastic casing out of the inside.
Yeah, he's got one of those.
So boom, you just tell him to make one. He'll do it. I'm sure he'll figure it out.
No, you're probably right. All right. Well, then I'll work on that.
He's like, hey, G, here's a hat. Make it fit. And then he'll
Don't know
make it
what
fit.
else. Yeah, I don't know what else to do. All right, we've got Drew's College of Political Knowledge, 4 questions on politics. The more you get right, the higher the degree. We'll see if you earn a PhD coming up in just a little bit. 10 more minutes or so. I'm going to kind of skim through some headlines because there's a lot going on I want to get to, and I don't want to miss any of it. So remember when Dr. Fauci was arguing with Rand Paul on Capitol Hill about, we never funded any Wuhan labs, so we didn't do that. The NIH, no way. Well, he had an interview with CBS's podcast called The Takeout, I don't know, on Wednesday, and it was released on Thursday. And the Fauci, they're defending the NIH funding research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Wait a minute. Did he say that? First of all, did he actually admit on this podcast that they were funding it? Major Garrett was the person that was asking the question. I mean, he was saying that there were grants. So to Major Garrett at CBS, he's admitting it, but to Rand Paul on Capitol Hill, he was fighting it?
There were 2 grants from the National Institutes of Health into investigatory work in the field in the Wuhan Institute of Virology and another institution there. Have you run to ground what those did or didn't do in terms of creating any atmosphere in which a leak could have occurred or might have occurred?
Well, the grants that was funded were to do surveillance in the environment to ask and answer.
Okay, great. Can I just stop right there? So, all right. So he's admitting to Major Garrett on CBS that, yeah, they did fund it. Okay. Well, do you have any regrets for doing that after everything is said and done now?
Real quickly, no regrets about those grants.
Well, the only regret is that what it has caused right now is such a degree of distraction.
Oh, that's what it is, everybody. It's just been a distraction. Don't you understand that the National Institutes of Health, they were funding the Wuhan Institute of Virology, and we know where we ended up because of that, and with the help of. But no, that wasn't happening, according to the Fauci on Capitol Hill, Rand Paul, and the fighting back and forth. No, how dare you, sir? And, with his very heavy New York accent, how dare you call me that? Okay, and then now he says on a podcast with Major Garrett, CBS, hey, listen, it was just what a distraction this has become. That's the only thing that I regret. Really? You don't, that's it, huh? Look, you care about this because everything that you have been arguing about with people with regard to why is it that Dr. Fauci has become the end-all be-all and anything he says goes, and then accordingly it goes to the CDC, which they do the same thing, and they're playing off of each other, and we're all standing here going, how do we trust you? You've given us no reason to believe or trust you. We want to. That's why we have a lot of these institutions right now, the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, we've got the NIH, we've got all of these alphabet organizations and bureaucracies that we are told constantly for decades and decades, trust, you got to trust us, you trust us, right? You could trust. No. You haven't given us a reason to. And at the moment in time when we needed to have that trust, like a pandemic, and then now it's like, and I've said this before, the one little dirty little secret that has been this sidelight of, on the sidelines of Fauci and the NIH and the funding of the Wuhan lab is very simple. At the simplest level, if you're trying to figure out how could he do this, at the simplest level, it's this. You have doctors and people at the NIH and others and researchers who are giving money to help other researchers, believing that those researchers have the same goal and are trying to accomplish the same thing as you are. And even if you're somebody who's trying to do the right thing, gain of function research so that you can help mankind, the problem is that when you're trusting these other researchers who work for the Chinese Communist Party, that maybe this idea of trust, that what you are trying to accomplish and what they're trying to accomplish are 2 different things. If the Chinese Communist Party has control over the Wuhan virology, the Institute of Virology there in Wuhan, then maybe even those researchers don't get to necessarily do what they want to do, and the feelings that they have about research with other human beings across the planet with regard to the right thing to do with humanity, because you might think that maybe a Chinese Communist Party might have another view on what you could do with that and what they would like to use it for. Do you see where I'm going here? So that is at the least, at the smallest level, you can make that case that that's all it was. It's just, he was just trying to do the right thing. And at the worst, we don't even want to go there. All right, 239-479-5592. What else is going on? Hey, this is something that you might want to be aware of. I'm not sure if it'll come up in the news today. It kind of broke overnight. Hey, remember the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan? He was the one that was trying to explain to everybody while the horrific situation in Afghanistan was unfolding. The debacle, the latest debacle of an administration, a debacle that is a little more than that because it led to the death of 13 servicemen and women, and the fact that there were many others that were injured as well, and the deaths that occurred. You know everything that's going. By the way, Afghanistan is not resolved. It's not like just because it's off the headlines, there's nothing to see here, move along. You remember Jake Sullivan, right? He was trying to explain that it's about cooperation with the Taliban, right?
As I said, we are engaging with the Taliban, consulting with the Taliban on every aspect of what's happening in Kabul right now, on what's happening at the airport, on how we need to ensure that there is facilitated passage to the airport for American citizens, SIVs, third country.
You remember all this. We're dealing with the Taliban. We're coordinating with them. Everything's going to be just fine. Remember that, Jake Sullivan? A name that a lot of people remember, Jake Sullivan, who actually was someone who worked very closely, side by side with one.
I'm really offended personally.
I didn't even mention your name yet, but there you go, Hillary Clinton. Yeah, Jake Sullivan was Hillary Clinton's campaign advisor for the 2016 election. Oh, I remember what happened in 2016 and the election of Hillary Clinton, or the non-election, and some of the nefarious things that were going on. Hey, Jake Sullivan was involved with that. Do you see how the connections all never seem to go away? I mean, you can name names right now in the Biden administration, and you could look at everybody and say, oh, I work for Hillary Clinton, work for Hillary, work for Obama, work for Hillary. Look, it's amazing how all of these names pop up. Well, White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan figures prominently in a grand jury investigation run by Special Counsel John Durham into an alleged 2016 Hillary Clinton campaign scheme to use both the FBI and the CIA to tar Donald Trump as a colluder with Russia, according to people familiar with the criminal probe, which has broadened now into a conspiracy case. He's facing scrutiny, sources are saying, over potentially false statements he made about his involvement in the effort, which continued after the election and into 2017. Really? Yeah, Paul Sperry has this real clear investigations. So now you have Jake Sullivan, who's floating around in that ether as well. Several people involved in the alleged conspiracy to mislead the FBI and trigger an investigation of the Republican presidential candidate, including Sullivan, who was described by his campaign position but not identified by name. So even more connections on the dirty side that have to do with Hillary and this administration and people involved in Donald Trump and 2016 campaign. Yeah, Nancy Pelosi thinks that's hysterical, apparently. All right, what else do we have as we're sweeping some of the headlines right now? Oh, I probably should mention this right now. Al Sharpton, as you heard, Al Sharpton was heckled down at the southern border. The narrative that has been out there that has been completely debunked. It's something about Democrats, the left in this country, and horses. They love the horsey pace. They love the horsey whips. Anything that has to do with horses. Apparently, they love horses. Oh, I see what. Yeah, that's right. Jake made a great point. It's not. Maybe it's the confusion with the horse and the donkey. Is that it? Is that why there's this distraction with horses that lately the Democrat Party has had, because they're confusing the donkey and the horse and the.
I mean, they do lack judgment, so.
So yeah, the issues along the border and what has been happening there, and this this call by many about how awful it is, and it's been terrible. And, you have these Border Patrol officers on horseback who are taking whips, and they're whipping these Haitian migrants that are there at the southern border, the 14,000 of them, and it was awful, and it was described as such. And you remember how the people were talking about that yesterday, when, of course, it wasn't anything like that. It was obviously the reins of the horse. But it doesn't make a difference. It was reins, and they were swinging it in their direction. And the Border Patrol has no right to protect themselves or the horse or even the individual who's coming towards the border that they're trying to stop. They have no. There's no way that they can do anything that would look like or give you the idea that they're trying to protect not only themselves and possibly the person that's moving there, because horses are not exactly small. They're pretty large, and if something were to happen, it could really hurt an individual. But you're not allowed to do that. And of course, you have Maxine Waters, who wanted to make a big thing about it yesterday.
And we're saying to the president and everybody else, you got to stop this madness. And I want to know, in the first place, who's paying these cowboys to do this work? They've got to be gotten rid of. They've gotten to be stopped. It cannot go on. And so I thank all of you for being here today. Write the story. Tell the story about what is going on. And let people know that they're trying to take us back to slavery days, and worse than that. Worse than slavery. You do realize, does Maxine Waters have any idea what she says? When she says this is worse than slavery, do you realize that there's a generation that's growing up right now that hears Maxine Waters and others describing what's going along on the southern border, like what is happening there along the southern border and what was happening with the CBP and what's happening in that particular situation, and comparing that to slavery in our past in this country? And do you understand how awful that is? That there's going to be a generation that grows up that's going to think that slavery is the Border Patrol on horses swinging in the air, reins to control somebody from, like, they're going to make that comparison. Like, that's what slavery was. Do you realize how bad that is? If you're trying to explain to people the history of slavery, to have a generation think that that's what it was? But anyway, so they acquiesced, and so now no more Border Patrol on horsies. So no horsey paste and no horsey whips anymore, because we won't have any horses along our southern border. So that's fine. And Al Sharpton was there along the southern border because, Al Sharpton just wanted to make sure that, well, Al Sharpton doing what he was doing is typical Al Sharpton, which is, well, let's let the people there at Del Rio describe exactly what they thought what was going on.
Racist nonsense in Del Rio. You're a disgrace. You're a racist. Nobody wants you in Texas. Nobody wants you in Texas. Why are you not a voice for the children that have gone missing at the border?
Whipping up the racial divide is what they're saying, and they didn't want Al Sharpton there. And I guess, listen, the president of the United States can't make it, but Al Sharpton did, so everything is A-OK. So people were not having it on the southern border. Al Sharpton doesn't need to be there because everybody knows why he's doing it. And their concern was that he was going to rip up some racism there along the border and make it seem like, well, you know the story. They were not happy. Let's just put it that way. All right, 239-479-5592. Why don't we do this right now? Drew's College of Political Knowledge, 4 questions on politics. The more you get right, the higher the degree. We'll see if you earn a PhD. Let's do the Friday Jake Day edition of Drew's College, which is no different than any other day, to be honest with you. But it's fun. And impress your friends and family. Maybe the kids are with you. Impress the kids. Or if you're a child, call up and impress your family or whoever you're hanging out with. 239-479-5592. We'll take caller 5 right now. If you would like to play, the phone lines are open. We would love to have you call and win and play Drew's College next on Daybreak 92.5 Fox News, right all along with traffic. Taylor's got it. Let's find out what's happening with Taylor Woods.
Good Friday morning, everyone. I do have a crash with injuries coming out of Collier County. This one's on Palm Street and Tamiami Trail. Tamiami Trail seeing backup in both directions, most lanes. So if you are headed that way, anticipate a little bit of a delay in your morning commute. Another crash I have, this one in Lee County with no injuries on Daniels Parkway and I-75 southbound. Daniels is seeing some roadblock heading westbound, so if you are going that way, expect some delays. That's your up-to-the-minute traffic. I'm Taylor Wirtz. Wink News now.
Wink Weather Authority.
Well, happy Friday. Here we go with another day featuring some scattered thunderstorms. Warm and humid today with temperatures pushing to 91 degrees as winds will be to the northeast and out of the west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. As we head into the upcoming weekend, we keep with a chance for some scattered storms into your Saturday. A little bit drier for Sunday as we see a frontal boundary pass through their area with rain chances dropping off as we head into early next week. I'm Wink News Weather Authority meteorologist Casey Sherman.
Stay right here, because after Drew, it's Glenn Beck, 9 to noon. 92.5 Fox News. Right, all along.
When you call Condition Deere, your comfort becomes our main priority. We put customer relationships first, and our team is committed to earning your trust and exceeding your expectations. You can count on us for straightforward answers and smart solutions. This is why our employees receive bonuses based on compliments from customers, not on sales goals. Your comfort comes first, and that's why we've been Southwest Florida's comfort people since 1962. Call the Condition Air team today at 1-888-COLD-AIR or online at conditionair.com. License number CAC 1819590.
You've been hearing about Key City Capital for the past 3 months. They've been actively investing in income-producing real estate for over 10 years here in Southwest Florida. If you're like most investors, you're looking to achieve strong returns in your investment portfolio, but don't want to take aggressive risk. Key City Capital was founded to achieve this goal and have been since inception. For over 10 years, they've generated consistent double-digit returns for investors without risking a penny of their principal. They can do it for you, too. Key City Capital would like to invite you to a free dinner and informational event at the beautiful Country Club of Naples at 6 p.m. on Thursday, September 30th. Come be their guest for an enjoyable evening. Learn about their real estate-backed strategies. To reserve your seat online today, go to kcap925.com. That's kcap925.com. Thursday, September 30th, 6 p.m. at the Country Club of Naples. There's no charge for the dinner or the information, but you must reserve your seat in advance at kcap925.com. That's kcap925.com.
Searching everywhere for great prices on appliances? No, you're not, because you have better things to do. Besides, Good Deals has it for less, and they have plenty of items in stock despite shortages everywhere else. Remember, Good Deals guarantees the lowest price on everything they sell. Find a lower price anywhere, and Jay will beat it, guaranteed. Visit one of the showrooms in Fort Myers, Naples, and Cape Coral, or shop online at gooddealsappliances.com.
Good Deals Appliances. Have we got a deal for you?
I'm Lois Tomey from Wink. As Wink continues the fight to feed hungry families, we also focus on our culinary community. It's our yearly celebration, Wink Taste of the Town. Good food for a good cause. This year, dozens of local restaurants will fill Centennial Park November 6th and 7th. Tempting treats, tasty tipples, live music, and family fun. Will your restaurant be part of this tasteful tradition? Sign up at tasteofthetown.net. Wink feeds families of all kinds. Wink Taste of the Town. It's all in good taste.
Manufactured in the USA, Plantation Shutters for You is your best choice for plantation shutters. Custom measured and installed just for you. Built to last forever. Call today for a free consultation. Discounts for all military and first responders. Also, if you support Biden, don't blink and call us. PlantationShuttersForYou.com.
Rock Solid wants you to be our customer. At Rock Solid Countertops and More, $9.99 gets it done. For a limited time only, get a full set of kitchen countertops from $9.99 installed. Rock Solid guarantees to beat any competitor's prices, including installation. So come see Hugo and his team in Naples. And now serving Port Charlotte at 4135 Tamiami Trail. Visit RockSolidNaples.com. Rock Solid, where $9.99 gets it done.
Drew's College of Political Knowledge is presented by France Eye Care. Better vision, better life.
Attention, class. It's time for Drew's College of Political Knowledge.
It's Drew's College.
All right, let's go to Caden. Caden's in beautiful Bonita Springs. So beautiful they named it twice. Hey, Caden.
Hi.
Hi, buddy. Caden, how old are you?
I'm 13.
All right, I like that. Caden, are you feeling confident today?
I'm feeling pretty good.
All right, well, let's see how it works out. Drew's College of Political Knowledge, 4 questions on politics. The more you get right, the higher the degree. We'll see if you're in a PhD or associate's degree question. Sir, starts now. Hey, do you know how old you need to be to vote? Like, how old do citizens have to be to vote when you're ready?
18.
That is correct, sir. All right. He didn't even let me finish, Jake. That's how excited he is to vote. All right. Let's see if you get a bachelor's degree on this question. The first president of the United States was who?
George Washington.
The second one was? Number 2.
I don't know.
John Adams. John Adams was number 2. Okay? Okay. No, it's all right. It's good. We're going to remember all of this. So number 2 is John Adams. All right. Let's see if you get a bachelor's degree on this question. The idea of self-government. It's in the first 3 words of the Constitution. What are the first 3 words of the Constitution? They're big and bold. And what do they say?
We the people.
Woo-hoo-hoo! That is correct. Okay. Good boy. Is that your mom cheering for you in the background?
Yes.
And we love you.
Okay, well, we love you too. He's not done yet. You may not love me for long. Hold on. Okay, so you got a bachelor's. We'll see if you get a master's degree on this question. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a multiple choice. You ready for a multiple choice?
Yes.
Okay, this is about learning. It's a learning experience. In 1775, we had the Revolutionary War Battle of Bunker Hill. You ever heard of that, Bunker Hill?
No.
Okay, well, Bunker Hill was the Revolutionary War battle happening in 1775. It was a victory, but a costly victory for one side. Was it a victory for the British or a victory for the Americans?
You got a 50-50 shot, buddy. I'm not helping you.
The American.
No, it was a victory for the British. It was costly, but the Bunker Hill battle. Heavy losses, but that's okay. We got them in the end, and that's what counts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Ken, you did a great job today. Your mom should be proud.
you.
And, listen, sometimes what this show is all about, it's about learning all kinds of things in life, like winning, losing. It's about learning great lessons in, well, I don't know. It's just fun. That's all it is. It's just fun.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, cool.
Thank you for what you do. Say thank you for what you do.
All right, thank you. See you guys. Have a great day. Hey, that was fun.
This is Daybreak. 92.5 Fox News.
From early morning to late at night, the station that gets it right is 92.5 WFSX Estero. Fox News. Right all along.
He's not just a person of interest anymore. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Brian Laundrie is wanted by the FBI. The search for Gabby Petito's fiancé now a week long as her hometown in Blue Point, New York plans a Shine of Light tribute to her days after Petito was found dead in Wyoming, never returning from the cross-country trip with Laundrie. Fox's Evan Brown is live in Florida.
Yeah, Dave, a federal grand jury in Wyoming is indicting Brian Laundrie not for the killing of Gabby Petito, but for bank fraud, accusing him of using a debit card that is not his, taking out more than $1,000 from an account during the time she was considered to be missing before her body was found. The indictment does not specify whether the debit card and cash belonged to Petito. Laundrie still is missing and hasn't been found since days of searching a wildlife preserve near his family home in Northport, Florida, near Sarasota, Dave.
More Americans can get COVID vaccine booster shots. The CDC's given the green light to a third Pfizer dose for those 65 and older and younger Americans with health issues and some who work jobs putting them at higher COVID risk.
A panel advising the CDC had originally voted no on giving boosters to frontline workers, but CDC Director Rochelle Walensky reversed that. She said that move put the CDC decision in line with the booster shot authorization decision made by the Food and Drug Administration earlier this week.
Fox's Jill Nato, former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, and 3 other Trump associates have been subpoenaed by the House committee probing the deadly January Capitol attack.
Committee members have indicated they want to know more about meetings with former President Trump in the days leading up to the violent Capitol breach that disrupted the counting of the Electoral College.
Fox's Jared Halpern. Fox in Memphis is reporting the gunman who shot up a supermarket then killed himself was a disgruntled vendor.
That's the most horrifying experience I've ever had.
She was uninjured, but one person was killed. America's listening to Fox News.
Wink News, traffic.
Good Friday morning, everyone. I do have a crash with injuries coming out of Collier County. This one's on Palm Street and Tamiami Trail. Tamiami Trail seeing backup in both directions, most lanes. So if you are headed that way, anticipate a little bit of a delay in your morning commute. Another crash I have, this one in Lee County with no injuries on Daniels Parkway and I-75 southbound. Daniels is seeing some roadblock heading westbound. So if you are going that way, expect some delays. That's your up-to-the-minute traffic. I'm Taylor Wirtz. Wink News now.
Wink Weather Authority.
Well, happy Friday as we head into the upcoming weekend. Some changes ahead, but for today, warm and humid with a high of 91 degrees with more scattered thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon. Saturday will still feature some more scattered storms to start the weekend with a high of 91 degrees for tomorrow. But as we see a frontal boundary pass the area beginning Saturday night into Sunday, we should start to see some drier conditions. Storms becoming more hit or miss and isolated by Sunday as we welcome in some of that drier air. We'll be feeling less humid by Monday of next week. I'm Wink News Weather Authority meteorologist Casey Sherman.
Got friends and family living far away? Tell them to stream the best station yet at rightallalong.net, the online home of 92.5 Fox News.
Hi, this is Earl Ron, president of New South Window. At New South, we are determined to build the best Florida window. Energy-efficient windows that stand up to heat and hurricanes. We call it the ultimate Florida window. Factory direct and guaranteed for life. New South has installed tens of thousands of windows across the state and has been named one of the fastest-growing window companies in the nation. And that is why we're New South proud.
Going on now. Save 35% off factory direct windows and doors. Visit newsouthwindow.com.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and get ready because it's time once again. Next Friday, Oaks Farm Seed to Table. We do our first Friday live broadcast, and we love being out there and love seeing you there for the show, 6 to 9 a.m. They open up an hour earlier so that you can come in and enjoy some great breakfast and so much more. Maybe do some shopping while you're there as well. And you know how awesome Seed to Table is and what a great place it is to shop. We hope to see you there. Oaks Farm Seed to Table, our first Friday broadcast, 6 to 9 a.m. at the corner of Immokalee and Livingston Road in Naples. Daybreak, 92.5 Fox News.
Swing into sizzling savings at Coral Oaks Golf Course in Cape Coral. Play 18 holes with cart for just $25 every day after 2 p.m. through October. Also, sign up now for the SETI Cape Coral City Championship and Roger Dean Chevrolet Pro-Am coming the weekend of October 15th. Book tee times up to 7 days in advance and get your tournament details at coraloaksgolf.com. We'll see you at Coral Oaks, where every day is a great day.
Whatever you're doing this weekend, stop your plans and enjoy 60% off on a large collection of diamonds, rings, bracelets, and necklaces.
Hi, Stuart Duncan here. You're invited this weekend to our 60% off sale. Come see us. Savings like no other.
Don't miss the savings at Duncan's Diamonds 60% off event.
Enormous selection. Magnificent diamonds.
This Friday and Saturday only. It's happening at Duncan's Diamonds.
An avalanche of glittering diamonds, engagement rings, wedding bands.
If it's in the showcase, it's a whopping 60% off. Now is the time to save at Duncan's Diamonds.
I want you to find the diamonds and jewelry you will love today and save 60%. And we will not be undersold by anyone, anytime, anywhere, and you can count on it.
Duncan's Diamonds. It's worth the drive for the best prices on diamonds and jewelry.
This weekend only, 60% off event.
Naples at Mercado. See store for details.
Lusk Draysites in Talisano believes winning cases is no accident. Your case is important. Pick a firm with resources to actually prosecute your case. If your case is accepted, you're guaranteed to not pay a single penny in fees or costs unless you get a favorable settlement or verdict. Lusk Draysites in Talisano has over 35 years of experience handling personal injury cases in Florida. Visit LDTlaw.com for a free consultation today. Winning is no accident. Lusk Draysites in Talisano. LDTlaw.com.
This is State Representative Spencer Roach. Did you know that President Trump is not the first president to call Florida home? That honor belongs to Florida's first territorial governor and America's 7th president, Andrew Jackson. Jackson was a true badass. He's the youngest prisoner of war in U.S. history. He was 14. He once refused to clean the boots of a British officer and was slashed in the face with a sword. He carried that scar for the rest of his life, along with 2 bullets from multiple duels. He's the only orphan to become president and the first president to survive an assassination attempt. Jackson advocated for states' rights, limited federal power, and term limits. He had great faith in the American people. In many ways, he was ahead of his time, but in every way, he was a true Florida man. This is Spencer Roach with a page of history from our great national story and a reminder that we all have a part to play in writing the next chapter. Sponsored by Friends of Spencer Roach, P.O. Box 3179, North Fort Myers, Florida, 33918.
From 92.5 Fox News.
It's the stuff Southwest Florida is talking about.
It's Daybreak. Now, here's the guy at the epicenter of what's important to those of us who live in Southwest Florida. Drew, Steve.
Hey, good morning, Southwest Florida. Glad you're here. 239-479-5592. The talk and text line streaming live. DrewSteele.com. The website, Steele S3Es. We appreciate you watching and subscribing to the podcast. Thank you for doing that. Today, the stream looks pretty awful. The camera's a little messed up today. We're in the process of working on it. But at least you could see something. Earlier, it was... Well, it doesn't matter. We're moving on. Everything is fine. All right, a lot I want to get to. I believe Mike Opelka is going to join us this morning. So, hey, a double shot of Mike Opelka this week. So we'll have that coming up, and we'll skim through the headlines. A lot to discuss today. One story I do want to get to this morning, and I think it really is important. It was a story from the Federalist. It's called "The Culture War is the Big Tent," and it's a great read, but it is going to challenge you. And I'm going to challenge you this hour to think about this. And maybe you want to comment on it, too. Feel free to call 239-479-5592. You know, there are a lot of challenges that we are going to have to confront. We're going to have to be bold. There are steps that we are all going to have to take now. Understanding the concerns that we have had with the election in 2016 and the Trump-Russia collusion hoax and the use of the FBI and the CIA and all of these different alphabets, the bureaucracies used against the former president, and phone calls that were fine, but we're told were impeachable and the like. And now we have this administration and everything that we see here in the truly impeachable offenses that we can look at, including the southern border and how things have been shaking out there. The 2020 election and how election integrity, as much as people want to say it's something in the past, move along, we have to ignore all this. We can't ignore it if we truly do care about election integrity. And dare I say, unfortunately, that we can't have nice things. And I might even say something that could be controversial, and I'll say it now because it's what I feel. And I have to be honest with you, I'm not even sure that doing mail-in ballots anymore is even the way to go. As much as you like it and as convenient as it has been something that has been abused by people who want to take the opportunity to abuse election integrity. And I'm just telling you, I would much rather have one day that we go and vote. You've got plenty of time to do it. If there is something or a reason why we're told in any community across the country that it can't happen for you personally, that we personally make an accommodation for you after researching it and discovering it. But this idea of the convenience of mail-in ballots, I don't know. I don't know. You can't have nice things because the whole thing's been ruined. And I feel, well, anyway, I'm getting off track here, but I don't want to get too far off. But we do have to be bold in the things that we talk about and the decisions that we make. People showing up at school boards, they're concerned about a lot of the things that have been happening in districts. There's an audio clip that I was looking at this morning that the Daily Wire was posting about a parent who was showing up at a Fairfax County school board meeting again. The issues that they're having there, school boards across the country. Watching the school board squirm as a mom reads them gay porn in books that are available to students. She reads it all out loud for them to hear. The books are in the schools. They're sitting there, and they have a problem that she's reading literally from the books. You can, if you go to Daily Wire, you can see it. It's not something that I can play, I refuse to. But the point is that they exist. And somehow when you actually hear it and you find out about it, then you're aghast. You can't believe that somebody would read this, but the books are in the libraries and the kids see the books. This is the reality we are under right now. You know, when I have this, I'm going to be emceeing this event on Saturday, Navigating Today's Gender Issues. And listen, this is about the kids. We're talking about children. If you're confused and you're not sure and you don't understand it, terms like gender dysphoria, and you want to hear from doctors and people who used to be transgender and no longer are, and what they were going through, and now why they are no longer that way, and the concerns that they have when it comes to our kids. It's about the children. And if you want to find out more about that, and again, this is about information. This isn't hate or anger or anything else. If you are thinking of individuals who are transgender or the gay community, and you feel hate in your heart and you get angry and everything else, then don't listen to this show. Don't listen to me. Don't just go away, because that's not what this is about. This is not about hate. And I can't make that any more clear. That's not what it is. It's about information and understanding things that you don't know what is going on, but a culture tells you that you must, you have to, you have no choice but to accept this. And if your faith tells you different, if something else is telling you different in your spirit, in your heart, that you're feeling like something's not right, then you should be informed on anything and everything that's going on in the world. And this is just one thing, and we're talking about the kids. So again, if you want to be at this event, Navigating Today's Gender Issues, it's taking place tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. to noon. It's at the Sunshine Community Youth Complex off of Palm Beach Boulevard in Fort Myers. And there'll be speakers there. And like I said, I'll be emceeing, and there'll be people there to give you information so you are informed and you can make a decision as to what is going on with your kids, with teens, and what is happening specifically when it comes to gender identity issues and gender dysphoria and some of the things that we're told we're not allowed to talk about. Sorry, I'm talking about it. And there's an important article that the Federalist put out, and I read it yesterday, and I said, this to me is a big deal. And I would encourage you to read it. If you have a chance to go to thefederalist.com and look up this story, The Culture War is the Big Tent. Because that's what we're in. You all know that. So what's the deal, Drew? So what are you trying to get at? And I want to read some of this. And I also want to bring this up because Jake saw this video, a couple of different videos that we talked about today, right?
As much as I could stand of it.
Yeah. Reeling from Barack Obama's re-election in 2012, the Republican Party published an autopsy report at the request of then-Chairman Reince Priebus. In corporate pastels, the document recommended Republicans moderate on social issues in order to be, quote, welcoming and inclusive. Then came Donald Trump. Then came 2020. In retrospect, the autopsy's contention that Republicans needed to rebrand as the quote-unquote growth and opportunity party is quite funny. If you were paying attention, it was quite funny then, too. Consider the arc of conservative youth groups, and they go into groups and the talks of free markets and limited government, and all of a sudden, even some of these quote-unquote conservative groups that are out there are starting to change and saying, listen, maybe we need to talk about the culture, and maybe it's something that we should be, more accepting of and listen to because we want to get everybody into this big tent. Even though maybe it's something that you would question as far as what the culture is doing. And that could be anything in the culture. It's not just one particular community, but it could be anything. Just because you want people to like you. Again, and if you're watching the culture closely 10 years ago, you understood this long before the Trump era. Slower learners needed the Trump moment to see this more clearly. It's also true that Democrats' wild reaction to Trump pushed them even further left on cultural issues, which made the state of affairs even more obvious. This is a fascinating article, and if you think about it and you step back and you listen to this, it's really, really important. There's a video that I was watching yesterday that we watched together. Two videos, as a matter of fact. One is this one. I don't know if I can play it. But it's a video of a woman tearing obscene ads off the walls of a subway car as it careens through New York City. The ads were for a company called OkCupid. Nobody knows. You know what OkCupid is? Did you look this up?
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody knows who this woman is, but there were a couple of people that were there in the subway. And they were ripping down these ads off the subway, inside of the subway cars, talking about pansexuals and tongues and mouths and graphic descriptions of sexual. I can't even believe that it was up in a public subway system, but we're told that all of this is acceptable and there's nothing to see here. Move along. Everything is fine. This woman was like, no, this isn't fine. We're not okay with this. And she says this is propaganda. It's never going to go away until the people say we don't want this anymore. She brought a couple of other people, and they went into the subway, and they started to tear down all of these ads. Now, again, you might say it's vandalism, and it shouldn't be happening, and I understand that, and I would agree. But the point is taken. As the article in The Federalist goes on to say, Emily Jashinsky, Nonpartisan parents around the country are resisting the excesses of LGBT ideology and critical race theory. The issue transcends the narrow borders of identity politics. The left pushed too far, too fast, and Democrats are now under the thumb of cultural radicals in politics and media, left to defend and promote an ideology that offends most of the country. It just does. You look at a recent poll that she puts up in the Minnesota Star Tribune, talking about police, the defunding of police, which, by the way, we come to find out yesterday that in 2020, the United States saw record increases in murders in 2020. The highest since the FBI had started tracking in 1960. The numbers are unbelievable. The amount of homicides, and even going back as a share of percentages, they are absolutely through the roof. We saw a 30%, think about this, Jake, a 30% rise in murders last year, well above the previous record increase. You know what the previous increase was? And again, this is a percentage based on population. So this isn't just, well, there are more people now. No. This was based on the populations of each time period. An increase of 12% in 1968 was the most. We have more than doubled the amount of murders in 2020. And people turn around and go, which administration was in charge in 2020? Oh, is that what you're trying to say, that it's the Trump policies? No. What else was happening in 2020, everybody? What else was going on in 2020? You know what else was going on. We had the defunding of police. We had the idea of mass incarceration is some kind of Isterobia, and we've got to open up the prisons, and we need to start. So a group wanted to find out about the Minneapolis Police Department. Should they or should they not reduce the size of the police force? And it's clear across the board in Minneapolis, male, female, white, black, every age, clear across the board. A huge percentage said they should not be defunded. They want more. They want a funded police force. Democrats are out of step with what everybody believes in this country. Wildly out of step. But we're told that, no, this is exactly where the culture is. No, it's not. It may be where the culture is, but it's not where the people are. Democrats are out of step with the public on many high-profile questions, some of which they can't ignore because the party establishment is culturally radicalized and demands they actively promote far-left priorities. So what are we getting at? I started this off by talking about Republicans. So what's your point, Drew? What's the article's point? Here's how she ends this. Republicans who find that socialism, quote-unquote, polls poorly in the suburbs should recognize those results don't speak to fears about the national debt. The label has a cultural connotation about creeping radicalism that can't be tapped into without platitudes about free markets. Not all culture war issues are politically expedient, although that doesn't mean conservatives should budge on them. But contra the 2012 autopsy standing against the excesses of cultural leftism and actually fighting back, that brings voters into the GOP, not repelling them. More importantly, of course, it's a moral imperative with urgent stakes. What is she saying here? Think about this, the big tent. The culture war is the big tent. Here's what she's saying, and it's simple. But you've got to think about this, and you have to be realistic about what we're talking about here, and it's this. We were told in 2012 that the reason why Barack Obama beat Mitt Romney was because we weren't nice, because we weren't accepting, because we weren't tolerant, and we needed to bring everybody into the tent. We needed to abandon anything that we believe and just bring everybody in, because if we make the tent bigger, then we'll succeed. And instead, what we did and what we get is we get a population in the country that was secretly saying, no, I'm not really sure about all of this. A left that went completely radical and then foisted upon all of us this idea of what the culture and what you are supposed to be and demand it, full stop. You can't say anything else. And it took Donald Trump to come along and point out a lot of the different things that are going on with the culture for us to realize that what brings people to the GOP is not being like Democrats. It's not being like Marxists or socialists or radicals. It's not being like them. It's like being like you, like who you are. What are your convictions? That's what's going to open up the tent. That's what's going to make this tent bigger. And the reason why is because the majority of the American people don't want to be Marxist, socialist, leftists, believing in defunding police departments and Antifa and a lot of the cultural issues that we described before and this forcing of having pornography in schools and books in libraries. And it is happening. Don't think that that's demagoguing. It's not. It's real. That's not the country. And so the way you open up a tent for the Republicans is to show the country that that's who the party is. That we're with you. We're not with the radicals, and we're not going to become more like them. Because then there's no reason to come into the tent. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Jake? Do you see what I'm saying? He's got a perplexed look. He's not sure. But I think it's fascinating, and I think it's an interesting point that the culture war is the big tent. That is what brings people in. That's what is going to bring people to, if you're concerned about the Republican Party and bringing more people in. It's standing strong on your convictions and what you believe, because you are the majority in the country. That deep down, when it comes to these critical issues of culture, the majority of the American people are not with radicals. They're not. They're not with defunding the police. They're not with destroying cities to get what they want. They're not open borders. They're not a lot of these different things that we talk about. So I would encourage you to read this article in the Federalist and take a step back and think about that. 239-479-5592, the talk and text line, streaming live, drewsteele.com. The website, Steele has 3 E's. We do appreciate you watching and subscribing to the podcast. All right, let's take a break, and when we come back, I believe we'll have not only the top 5 audio clips, but we should have Mike Opelka joining us. So we'll have a little bit of fun as we finish up on this Friday. It's Daybreak 92.5, Fox News, right all along.
Joe Biden's plan for America? Recycled leftovers. Time for some right thinking. 92.5 Fox News. Right all along.
For eligible individuals 18 or older only. Not available in Oregon or West Virginia. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With hearing aids from Lively, everything is done remotely in the comfort of your home, from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better. With Lively, you get premium Bluetooth-enabled hearing aids at thousands less than you'd might expect. The best hearing aid technology is now affordable and convenient. Your hearing aids are sent right to your door. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week. No charge.
Ah, you people at Lively are wonderful.
With Lively hearing aids, you get free shipping, 3 years of follow-up care included free, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage. You can't lose.
I hear better than I ever thought possible.
Now get $100 off your hearing aids when you go to listenlively.com/radio. That's listenlively.com/radio. listenlively.com/radio.
Hey, we've got my friend Dave Meister on the phone, of course, with the Floor Meisters, the family-owned Floor Meisters in Naples. And Dave, listen, I know you got a lot of things going on. You're selling a lot of cord tech. That's great, but you got this 8,000 square foot showroom with a selection of carpet that is absolutely unbelievable as well. And the prices right now are pretty amazing. So I hear you got this whole thing going on with Dreamweaver carpet starting at, wait a minute, let me just get this right, at just $1.99 a square foot?
Yes, installed carpet pad and labor, $1.99.
And there's the phones ringing already. Look at that. They're getting excited.
Oh, yeah.
Dave, tell me more about what we've got here.
So we've got a big selection, and this is quite a carpet.
Listen, if you haven't been to the Floor Meisters, you really owe it to yourself to visit their store, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco. Whether it's tile, laminate, hardwood, or, of course, carpet, they've got it all. So give them a call today, 239-596-4964, or on the web at floormeisters.com.
Replace your AC today, go on a cruise tomorrow. Island Air wants to send you to the island. Matt here from Island Air of Southwest Florida with some great news.
Decisions. Do I buy an air conditioner? Do I take a vacation? For a limited time, Island Air is offering you both in one package.
Call us today to find out more details on how to claim your voucher. Call 239-466-8668.
Call 466-8668 for more details.
License number CAC 057544.
Well, hello, Winn-Dixie. Bro, I love this song. Me too. It's the perfect soundtrack for picking out Winn-Dixie's guaranteed fresh produce. So refreshingly fresh. Know what else is music to my ears? What's that, my Winn-loving twin? Opening up my app to see we've earned so many points. That all the groceries in our cart are free. Winn-Dixie has the best quality and winning rewards. I love the sound of that. Winn-Dixie. It's a win-win. Terms apply. See store Winn-Dixie.com for details.
When was the last time you checked in on your insurance? Give CIG a chance to review your current coverage and find you better rates. Hi, this is Brian Chapman at Chapman Insurance Group. My team and I are dedicated to finding you the best suited coverage at the best rates. Give us an opportunity to quote your home, auto, business, or flood policy. I'm confident we can save you money for the same or better coverage. Qualified agents are standing by. Visit CIGFlorida.com or call an office near you today. Naples, Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Port Charlotte, and Punta Gorda. CIGFlorida.com.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to get everything you need. Right now, get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $28.95 and earn double O rewards points with your purchase. Protect your engine against sludge and wear with Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil. On sale now at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hello, I'm Dave Harmer of First Class Air Conditioning, serving all of Southwest Florida since 1977. In a service industry like ours, customer satisfaction means everything. We post our customers' service reviews up front at firstclassairconditioning.com. Our work and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. Call 239-574-2500.
First Class Air Conditioning. Our name says it all.
Trey Radel, your host of The Drive here. In studio with us is Dr. Michael Varveris. He is a concierge medical doctor. Now, doctor, in today's world, you have to wait sometimes months before you can get an appointment with your doctor. When you get there, it's at least an hour wait to even get in. You barely even speak with your doctor. How are you different?
And everything you mentioned, I'm different. What I'm trying to do is trying to provide the service that I'd want provided or I want a loved one provided. So a patient of mine will be able to see me today or tomorrow. The time spent will be what is needed. A patient might have to wait a little bit because I'm with another patient, but I'll do the same for them. You know, I keep my overhead low in my practice, and it allows me to create individual relationships, which obviously is what it's all about.
Go visit Dr. Varveris online. He's at mddocv.com. Again, that's mddocv.com. This is the doctor that gets to the root of the problem, your concierge medical doctor. Visit him online today, mddocv.com.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. The boyfriend of a woman, Gabby Petito, found dead in Wyoming, is now wanted by the FBI. Law enforcement in Florida has been looking for him for the last week.
The indictment against Brian Laundrie says he committed fraud by using a debit card to take out over $1,000. The indictment does not specify it was Gabby's. Prosecutors are trying to establish a timeline. Her phone's last text was sent August 27th. He returned home sometime September 1st.
Evan Axelbank with Fox 13 Tampa Bay. A widow with 3 sons named Olivia King is identified by friends as the woman killed in a shooting at a supermarket in Collierville, Tennessee. Police say the gunman shot 13 people, then himself.
The shooter is deceased. We believe that's going to be from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Collierville Police Chief Dale Lane. A town spokeswoman says the man had been a third-party vendor of the store. America's listening to Fox News.
This update is presented by Stevie Tomato Sports Page in Fort Myers, Cape Coral, and Naples.
Wink News, traffic.
Good Friday morning, everyone. I do have a crash with injuries coming out of Collier County. This one's on Palm Street and Tamiami Trail. Tamiami Trail seeing backup in both directions, most lanes. So if you are headed that way, anticipate a little bit of a delay in your morning commute. Another crash I have, this one in Lee County with no injuries on Daniels Parkway and I-75 southbound. Daniels is seeing some roadblock heading westbound, so if you are going that way, expect some delays. That's your up-to-the-minute traffic. I'm Taylor Wirtz. Wink News now.
Wink Weather Authority.
wonderful, happy Friday as we head into the upcoming weekend. Some changes ahead, but for today, warm and humid with a high of 91 degrees with more scattered thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon. Saturday will still feature some more scattered storms to start the weekend with a high of 91 degrees for tomorrow. But as we see a frontal boundary pass the area beginning Saturday night into Sunday, we should start to see some drier conditions. Storms becoming more hit or miss and isolated by Sunday as we welcome in some of that drier air. We'll be feeling less humid by Monday of next week. I'm Wink News Weather Authority meteorologist Casey Sherman.
Keeping it right here. We're 92.5 Fox News. And we've been right all along.
Hi, I'm Big Al from Stevie Tomatoes. You've heard me say we're the working and retired person's country club. This means coming in for a meal, a drink, or with a party, and we will obtain your complete satisfaction with our food, service, and value. We strive for excellence with your service experience and our food. So on the rare occasion we fall short, tell us and we'll fix it. Plus, at Stevie Tomatoes, there are no pretenses, no attitudes, high prices, or rushing you in or out. Come relax, enjoy yourself, and be yourself. At Stevie's, we love meeting the men and women who currently and in the past work hard to make America great. We appreciate their values, honesty, industriousness, and affection for this great country. So head to Stevie's, where we strive for excellence in everything we do. I guarantee it. In Naples, Fort Myers, and Cape Coral. Come.
Stevie Tomatoes, sports page. Come for the food. Stay for the sports.
Whatever you're doing this weekend, stop your plans and enjoy 60% off on a large collection of diamonds, rings, bracelets, and necklaces.
Hi, Stuart Duncan here. You're invited this weekend to our 60% off sale. Come see us. Savings like no other.
Don't miss the savings at Duncan's Diamonds 60% off event.
Enormous selection. Magnificent diamonds.
This Friday and Saturday only. It's happening at Duncan's Diamonds.
An avalanche of glittering diamonds, engagement rings, wedding bands.
If it's in the showcase, it's a whopping 60% off. Now is the time to save at Duncan's Diamonds.
I want you to find the diamonds and jewelry you will love today and save 60%. And we will not be undersold by anyone, anytime, anywhere, and you can count on it.
Duncan's Diamonds. It's worth the drive for the best prices on diamonds and jewelry.
This weekend only, 60% off event.
Naples at Mercado. See store for details.
Are you one of the millions of homeowners who haven't refinanced yet? If so, I'm here to tell you it's not too late. Hi, I'm Wesley Hogan with Westland Financial. Although the lowest rates may be in our rearview mirror, as the economy recovers from the biggest economic shock of our lifetime, rates still remain near historic lows. In fact, with the dramatic increase in home values, this may be the perfect time to put that new home equity to work. Take advantage of our cash out refi program and pay off high-rate credit cards, car loans, or other high-interest rate debt. Or finally make those home improvements you put on hold for so long. Best of all, we can do this with no closing costs. That's right, whether it's a conventional, FHA, or VA loan, we'll pay for your title, settlement, lender, and recording fees. So call Westland at 888-455-3669. That's 888-455-3669. It's the biggest no-brainer in the history of mankind. 888-455-3669.
NMLS number 3304. Not all loans apply. Equal housing lender.
100% organic food and thought.
We live in a fast-paced, fast food world. Meanwhile, people have gotten sicker. We've lost our connection to the earth, to our food, and where it comes from. Food and Thought in Naples is an oasis where people can reconnect to their food and where it comes from. It's not just a grocery store, it's a lifestyle.
100% organic food and thought.
Trust. It's the rock-solid foundation of Moran Wealth Management. Over 40 years ago, they began advising clients on ways to help meet their financial goals. 4 decades later, we've helped many reach their goals of providing for themselves, their families, and future generations. CEO Tom Moran has assembled an impressive team of professionals, each committed to the same core concept. Tom is recognized by Barron's as a Hall of Fame advisor. To be named a Hall of Fame advisor, the advisor has to have been ranked by Barron's consecutively for the last 10 years in any of their rankings. Let us earn your trust. Call 239-920-4440 or visit moranwm.com. Barron's rankings are based on data provided by thousands of advisors. Factors included in the rankings were assets under management, revenue produced for the firm, regulatory record, length of service, quality of practice, and client retention. Investment products and services are offered through Wells Fargo Advisors Financial Network, LLC, WFAFN, member SIPC. Moran Wealth Management is a separate entity from WFAFN.
Stay right here, because after Drew, it's Glenn Beck, 9 to noon. 92.5 Fox News. Right all along.
Wow, look at this. What a treat. Who can believe that this, not once. Not once. It's like a 2 for Tuesday. It's like a double shot. It's Mike Opelka. Not just one day, but 2 days.
That's right, people. My loss is your gain. Thank God Delta Airlines canceled my flight this morning. Just about an hour before I was scheduled to drive to the airport. So everything must go, including my mind this morning, Drew. My loss, your gain.
Oh,
hello, my friend.
All right. Well, okay. First, we have to update everybody on what's going on. So I heard some snappy music in the background, and I'm like, what's going on there with Mike Opelka, pureopelka.com. Yesterday, as you know, we had a... There it is. Okay.
There's your snappy music. I've been on hold.
Right. So let me explain. So, all right. So for those that don't know, so yesterday he came on the program because he didn't think he was going to be here for the Friday Fun for All that we usually have on Fridays, because he was going to see his nephew, Riley Opelka, the very well-known number 19 in the country, right? Is that where he is right now?
In the world. Thank you.
Oh, in the world? Did I say that wrong? Okay. In the world, Riley Opelka, the very famous tennis player who happens to be related to Mike Opelka, and he was going to go visit, and unfortunately, he wouldn't be able to join us on Friday. But fortunate for us that an airline stinks. And so somehow they canceled your flight? They bailed on you? What did they do?
Look, I've had a great relationship with Delta Airlines. This might be the breakup moment, though, but an hour, literally less than an hour before I'm supposed to get in my car, drive to the airport, fly to Boston, watch my nephew play at 1 o'clock. It's an hour and a half flight. You know, it's like you get in your plane, you land before you get your drink. They're coming back down.
Yeah.
And I was heading to the Boston Garden to watch him play in the Laver Cup, this huge tennis event, global tennis event. And they said, oh, by the way, we canceled your flight and we booked you on another flight. Now, the other flight is tomorrow, which is about as effective as a fart in a windstorm, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
And so I'm totally boot screwed and tattooed, although not tattooed. But I am now trying to resolve it. I just hung up on them because I was on the phone with the people I booked the trip with, Travelocity, and they told me that I have to talk to Delta because they've already rebooked me. They can't refund anything. I'm Mr. Stress today.
How do they do that? They just, oops,
they've got these arcane rules, and they're like the Scarecrow in the Wizard of Oz when he goes, some people go both ways, and their arms go either direction. So I'm very frustrated, on top of all the madness of the news that we learned overnight that Joe Biden hasn't paid his taxes.
Yep.
and that Hunter likes cheap hookers. Was that a shock to anyone?
No.
Did you read that email?
Oh, no, I did. I try to stay away from those kind of emails. The trying to get $2 million or something like that from Libya. That's the one that I kind of attach myself to. It's like, you mean there's another country that he tried to get 10 for the big guy?
Yeah, well, it's a same email chain, because they were saying Hunter asked for a $2 million retainer. He intimated that he has connections to China. And of course, his dad was still vice president at the time. And the people are like, well, he does have a drug problem and he does like the cheap hookers. So there could be a liability here. Why is the AP not reporting this story? Why is the AP not reporting Joe Biden owes $500,000 in back taxes? Why is that not on the Associated Press's headlines today?
It's the same reason why the Associated Press goes on to MSNBC all the time to report for them about different things that are going on. It's almost like they're kind of on the same page with a lot of stories. Yeah, there's that. The fact that Joe Biden owes up to $500,000 in back taxes. I mean, when you get the money for the big guy from the bigger guy, then every once in a while, you gotta kind of hide the rest of it. Anyway, so there's that. There's also a poll out that says Trump has a 10-point lead over Biden-Harris in a potential 2024 election bid. And I wanted to bring this up to you because I'm going to ask you a question, and it's yes or no. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, that's it. That's all I needed to know.
Okay, thank you.
Now, do you think that it will be Trump, Biden in 24? Yes or no? Okay,
No.
now here's the fascinating part of this, because I had a debate with a couple of people yesterday, and it was fascinating to me how everybody had a different take on it. When they said, because they all said no, but it wasn't for the reason that I thought of. My reason may not even be yours. Why do you think it won't be a Trump-Biden 24 election contest?
I don't think either are running.
So you think ultimately Biden will be out by then, and
Yeah.
you don't think Trump is going to run in 24 at
No.
all?
No, I
Really?
don't.
Okay.
Long ways away. But I will tell you also right now, your premise earlier that set up that question, a blender could beat Biden Harris right
Well,
now. You could put a Vitamix blender up against those two, and it would beat them.
He is like a little baby.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's no. That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
By the way, there may be a reason why flights are being canceled in Boston. A JetBlue passenger on a flight from Boston to Puerto Rico allegedly tried to get into the cockpit, had to be stopped by flight crew members, and FBI's investigating. Khalil Eldar got upset about a phone call not working, and they actually had to grab him, struggle with him. They had to use the seatbelt extenders to lock him up.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So maybe that's why my flight got canceled this morning.
That's an issue. There's that. What's the fascination with Democrats and horse stuff? Horsey paste, horsey reins, horsey stuff. And so now we come to find out with horses and the Border Patrol and what we saw a video and witnessed in some photographs, and then how some on the Democrat side have become detached from reality of what was going on there. Now we come to find out no more horses along the border. Well, at least not banning horses completely, because it just depends on who's on the back of them.
Well, it's a load of horse hockey.
Yeah,
right now, to use Colonel Potter's terminology.
Yep.
That's a load of horse hockey. Well, it really is bizarre, but there is one word that explains all of this, and it is just like Joe Biden has empathy. You know, he's grief man. He pulls out his empathy cape and he uses it to change the subject on anything. Oh, I have a dead son. Yeah, great. Sorry. I have a dead brother too, Joe, but I'm not changing the subject every time. This is all about racism. The Democrats are in a deep, deep hole right now. They got a problem on funding their green agenda. They got a problem on funding this new world order, mega trillion expansion of government giveaway program. They got a problem with the border. They got a problem with COVID that Joe told us he was going to shut down. They got a problem with inflation. They got a problem with gas prices. They have problems like you cannot believe.
Yep.
And the only thing they can bring up and point at the GOP is say, you're racist.
Yep.
And that stops everything. That is the freezer. That's the, you pull out the ray gun, the racism ray gun, and go zzz, and that freezes the GOP.
Yeah, and how about freezing Al Sharpton, who was there at the border yesterday and getting heckled?
It's not a racist city. Del Rio is a loving, caring community. We don't want your racism in Texas. Get out of here.
I love that. I love Al the charlatan.
Yep.
He is. You know, I wonder if he's paid his taxes too. You know, he owed $5 million in back taxes at one point.
You can't ask.
That's right. That's racist. I'm
That's right.
sorry.
So
Everyone's a little bit racist today.
I didn't know there was a song about that.
Yeah, it's from the fabulous musical Avenue Q. It's a brilliant tune.
I'm not really sure what that's true or not. But I guess if you sung it, then is it sang it or sung it? I don't even know. All right, so we've got that. So no more horses along the border. We hear about that going on.
Well, did you play Senator John Kennedy? One of my favorites. One of my spirit animals.
Yeah, you love him. No,
I do.
I didn't.
I do. He was on Hannity the other night talking about why we have problems at the borders, why we have need of the horses, and he clarified that it's because who Joe Biden put in charge. You got to hear this.
Go ahead.
This year, over 2 million people will come into this country illegally, and we don't have the slightest idea who they are. Now, I think it's worth asking why. And to me, there are only one or two possible explanations. The first is incompetence. It may be that the president has put in charge of his immigration policy a bunch of pink-haired wokers who don't know their ass from their elbow.
Now, to be clear, I know a lot of people might cringe at that description, but Senator Kennedy describing those pink-haired wokers also clarified what he meant when he said they don't know their ass from their elbow.
Yeah.
I use ass in the King James Bible sense.
So, just to make sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it really is true. We've put a bunch of people in charge, and the sad thing is that the people above them, like Mayorkas and the Secretary of Defense, they have all taken the woke position on this. It's like they've suddenly seen the cool kid in high school and adopted their goofy fashion style because they thought that would make them cool too. And it's troubling to me.
Yeah. And by the way, speaking of Mayorkas on MSNBC yesterday, talking about and bragging about, here, listen to this.
And I'd like to understand from you what Trump-era immigration policies have been banned, ended, reversed, and if any investigations are underway by you.
So we have rescinded so many Trump immigration policies. It would take so much time to list them.
I got a question. Question for here. So there's too many to list of the immigration policies that have been rescinded by from the Trump administration. I see what's going on along the border and what's happening right now. Hey, I got questions. Does that mean we can blame you specifically now? Like absolutely positively? Because if you're telling us you rescinded all of these Trump policies, then you're pretty much admitting, quite honestly, that it is your fault, right? I mean, there's no reason to go back to the former administration or even bring it up, I guess, as part of it.
Well, that's an interesting angle, but I think we should investigate the competency of this gentleman who is the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, because I don't think he knows how to count. He was asked, how many Trump policies did you rescind? Oh, there's too many to count. I can't even count. He was asked, how many people have we let loose in the country or we have sent back? I don't know. There's too many to count. I don't have that number with me. I work 18 hours a day. How dare you?
Yeah, math is hard to grasp.
Math is hard at
is.
the Department of Homeland Security.
You better believe it. All right, a couple of other things I wanted to touch on before we go. Hey, I'm looking at right now what is video. John Cassio, famous program director here at 92.5 Fox News Radio. You probably heard of him.
Is he still working there?
Yeah, he's still here. Believe it or not. And he's my boss.
He's great.
Oh,
isn't he?
yes, he is. He sent me a tweet from Shooter McGavin. And it shows video, and it says America, the American flag, hashtag Ryder Cup USA. Packed. The Ryder Cup packed with people. I don't see a whole lot of masks. I don't see a whole lot, but I see a whole lot of people getting ready for the Ryder Cup. And it brings up an interesting point because somebody brought a couple of articles to my attention. I think they were at the Federalist that they were talking about this. You see college football, packed. Stadiums, packed with people. Constantly, right? It's not stopping, no masks, the whole idea. College football could save us from the pandemic. That's what people are saying. Like, what do you mean? That's a weird statement. Well, if everybody's getting together and we're going to create herd immunity, that's how you do it. That's the suggestion that they're making is you didn't realize when we get 70, 80,000 people in the stadium every weekend and we're doing this and we're having all of these events, that's how we get there in a weird, twisted way. That's part of it. You know, the other part certainly being our liberties and our freedoms. But I don't know, what's your take on that?
Well, the interesting thing, remember, as the college football season began a couple of weeks ago, St. Fauci was telling us that this was going to be, I'm very nervous, this is going to be super spreader events.
Right.
I haven't seen any record of super spreaders coming out of these games. And I just think we are so darn close to herd immunity. And even the Delta variant is fighting with the original COVID for space in the body. That's what one of the researchers I talked to said, because I said, why aren't we seeing Delta have more serious effect. He said, well, the cases are out there and they're mostly people with comorbidities. And yeah, we have a lot of cases, but you don't hear the death rate. 2 weeks ago, the CDC posted the death rate per 100,000 and it was almost zero.
Really?
Nobody's talking about that. I posted the graph. I sent it to you one morning, I think about 10 days ago. The graph that showed the death rate per 100,000 COVID cases is down to zero, theoretically. You know, statistically, you could round it.
Right.
Yeah, and there are, the numbers might be a touch higher in the 65 to 75 plus range, or those with serious comorbidities. But effectively, it looks like COVID's losing its lethality. It's still there.
Yeah.
And we're still have to be mindful of it. And just like the flu.
Right.
But this is not the body count that we were seeing before, even though there were 1,900 people died a couple of days ago. That's because there's a lot of people getting it, and a lot of older comorbid cases are out there.
Right.
So I think there's an information deficit here that we're seeing everywhere, from Biden's taxes to Hunter's emails to COVID data.
Yeah. And even Sweden. How many people? Somebody was texting me the other day and saying, are you looking at the numbers in Sweden? Are you seeing what they're doing? Everybody's talking about all these other countries. They were saying, Sweden is the most awful place to be when it comes to COVID. Do you realize that there are no restrictions, like zero? They're just getting back to normal, back to life. And then when you see the cases and the numbers and what is going on there, it's virtually nothing. It's nothing. So
nothing.
Okay.
And follow Peter Sweden on the Twitter. He's not Swedish, but he is named Peter Sweden. And he puts a lot of data out there. I think it's fair for us to remind people the real problem is the out of control violence in the city's 30% year over year murder rate increase. Chicago has had more kids shot this year, children shot this year, than the entire country has lost to COVID in terms of children.
All right. Well, I hear the music coming up, but last but not least, I have to end with this. No more X-Men. Marvel Studios. No more X-Men. It's going to go away.
Thank God. Thank God it's going to be woke. We're going to have X people.
That's the story, everybody. Marvel Studios is talking about getting rid of X-Men because it's not inclusive. It's not sufficiently inclusive. So what are they going to call it? X what?
Hopefully it'll be X movies. I haven't seen any of them. Can we investigate how much each superhero is being paid to see if there's gender parity on pay?
Wait a minute. I didn't know superheroes get paid. You're telling me like the Spider-Man gets paid? Like he won't do it for the love of country and people? He gets paid?
It's a dirty secret that somebody has to expose, and I'm glad it could be me.
Well, that's an awful way to end a Friday with that thought.
I could say something terrible about Delta Airlines.
No. Go back on hold. At least with Delta, you get some really super cool music. I can't even say it with a straight face.
Dave Letterman at one time said Delta stands for Don't Ever Leave the Airport.
Ah, very nice. And we'll leave that right there.
Thank you, everybody. Good night. Have a great weekend. God bless you. I love you.
And enjoy the veal. All right. We'll see you. All right, it's Daybreak 92.5 Fox News. Right all along, let's find out what's going on with the remainder of our forecast with Wink News meteorologist Casey Sherman.